Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Uno, dos, tres, cuatros. Let's see. We got Audacity. Audacity up. Okay, I need to bring the time up. I need to bring the time up. Here we go. Time. 3, 2, 1. It's the time. Time.gov. 36 seconds. Okay, we got 36 seconds here. We're going along. Build back better. I mean, Joe needs to quit. Joe needs to quit. Build back better. I mean, Joe, what you been doing for 47 years, dude? Okay. Robert Spalding. Let's see here. Robert Spalding. Okay. Here we go. Tres, cuatros. Okay, welcome to the Reality Check with Charles Butler here at Red State Talk Radio. Let me turn on the light. Oh boy. Oh, okay, here we go. It's always something with me, you know, the man who's fumbling and bumbling. We're supposed to have Robert Spalding on today, and Mr. Spalding, General Spalding, I should say, General Robert Spalding, is going to talk to us a little bit about the president last week. I remember Trump was at the UN, and he was very clear that China spread the virus, right? And you know, people had totally ignored Trump talking about China and the virus. Okay, it's amazing. It's amazing. I can just say that. You know, he was at the UN and you know, he just spilled it out. He just called China out and said, hey, you know, you guys spread the virus and you put this thing on us, we've had to deal with it, and somebody's going to pay. So till Bob shows up, let's see here. Bob Spalding. Let me pull him in. We're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to talk about the debates. What about the debates? I thought it was great myself. A lot of people didn't. And please call 215. Okay. 867 8255. Cool. There we go. So we're talking about President Trump and his appearance at the UN. I thought it was great. He said that we need to hold China accountable for the virus. and spreading the virus. And I think he's absolutely right. So when the president called out President Xi, everybody's, oh my God, he's, he just, I can't believe our president. Yeah, he did, because it's true. Xi uh, leaked this virus on the rest of the world on purpose. I mean, that's should be well documented. But it's not, because lamestream media doesn't want to call out uh, China for its malfeasance, because they don't want to appear racist. But they don't have that problem when it comes to black folks. You ever notice that? They make fun of black people, and today you have black people who degrade themselves in terms of hairstyles and language and all these other things. They sound like idiots. I'm talking black because I'm ignorant. Jesse Jackson to thank for that. Okay, man. You can't make this stuff up, people. You can't make this stuff up. It's outrageous, but you can't make it up. It really is outrageous. You just can't make it up. I'm sitting here and I'm pulling up some files. What I'm trying to do is to look at the latest and greatest uh, file, my video. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. So I got to watch you guys out there. Then I have to watch. See if Bob calls in. It gets a little hectic for one person, I tell you. But we manage. We manage. Look. So we got. Okay, move that over to the side like that. Oh, that's good. There we go. So when Bob calls in, we'll be ready to go. But I want you to listen to President Trump at the UN. He just lays into China, man, and I love it. Let's see where we are here. Well, supposedly Trump gave a speech that was a few minutes long. It was 8 minutes long, supposedly, and it was the shortest speech that a president had ever given to the UN. Hello, shortest speech a U.S. president had ever given to the UN. So, uh, but he talked about the he talked about how the uh, China had just basically unleashed this horrible disease on the American people, and it's true. And people like Biden would never call the UN out on it, would never call China out on it. That's the thing that really ticks a lot of Americans off, is that these people will refuse to stand up to China, refuse to stand up to our enemies. China is our enemy. I don't care how you cut it. They're not our friend. They're not someone we can trust. So the question becomes, why are we dealing with them? And and Trump has said, hey, guess what? We're going to call them out. And yeah, we're going to have agreements, and we're going to have things that we don't agree on. And that's just the way it is. We're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to play games with the Chinese. We're not going to play games with you in the South China Sea. We're going to deal with you. That's exactly right. So what I want to do is, I can't come up with that clip, but I had it a couple of weeks ago when the president spoke to the General Assembly in the UN, and he was very clear. And also Iran, he put all this pressure on Iran. In fact, Iran is going to sue the United States because it said, I think we hurt their economy by $158 billion or something like that. It's amazing, man. It's amazing, some of the things that these people say and do to try to get us off base, to try to get us off square. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time, it doesn't. But Bob wrote a book called, what's his book called? It was called, let's see, it was called Stealing America. It was called, what was it called? Can't remember, but I have it here, Bob Robert Spalding. And it was a great book. I read it a couple of times actually. And it's a number one, it's called Stealth War, how China took over while the Washington elite slept. Because there were those of us who called, and Mel Gibson was very clear on this about how Australia was giving China loans to build steel plants, and the Aussies were paying the debt or the interest on the loans, and they were putting Australians out of jobs. How crazy is that? But that's what these people have done, and that's what they do. And then they expect us to sit home and go along with their stuff. Joe Biden, with world economy. Now he's talking Build Back Better America. I mean, America's doing just fine, Joe. You didn't have anything to do with that. In fact, your recovery was like less than 2% a year. And these guys keep talking about a great economy. These were service jobs that Barack was creating, where people had to work two jobs just to make ends meet. They weren't getting ahead. They were working two jobs just to keep afloat. Just to keep afloat, man. It's bad. And people don't want to go back to that, I'm sure. But if you elect Joe Biden, you certainly will. Oh, poor Joe. Everybody's poor but Joe. That's what we used to say about Joe Biden. Because the guy was always claiming he was poor, but he's a millionaire. He's probably worth about, I don't know, 15, 20 million by now. He was worth $3, back in the 90s. So, who knows? But they talk about the trade of insults, And Trump tickled me when he said, 47 years, you've done nothing. That tickled me so I don't know why that got to me, but it just it hit home in that Biden hadn't done anything in what 20 years. Yeah, 47 years, man. He'd been in the Senate most of that time. It's a long time to be in the Senate, I tell you. But he was there. He did his thing. He's was, Joe Biden. Never on the right side of an issue. That's the other thing that always got me about Biden. Never on the right side of an issue. Always on the wrong side of issues. Like who? The Manchurian Candidate, or the guy I consider a Manchurian Candidate, John McCain. Manchurian Candidate. So 9:30. Let's see here. 9:30. I'm opening up a little folder that kind of gives me a heads up. I'm gonna sort this thing out by date, but old Uncle Joe, man, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Joe is always trying to upset the apple cart. So let's see. Transfer. Okay. I see 2008. How come I don't have? Maybe I can look at it this way. 9:30. Pull it up. 9:30. It's going out to Bing. I don't want to go out to Bing. Somebody changed all these settings for me, but I don't want to do that. Look. So 9-30. See where we are. Can't find it. Amazing. Sales back up. Nope. Folder, web, nope. 2020. Nope. But I will find that. Uh, I will find that recording and play it for you because it is hilarious. I mean, Trump just gets all in Joe Biden's case. He didn't give him a break. He didn't, Joe said, "Wait a minute." Joe said, "He's a clown." I mean, you don't call the president, even if you didn't like Trump, call the president of the United States a clown, really? You wouldn't call Obama a clown. But he did say Barack Obama was a clean guy. He did say that. Barack is a clean guy. And they said, "Well, Joe, what do you mean? Who's dirty?" And pretty much what he was meaning was ethically clean, morally. He wasn't dirty like Sharpton or some of the other people who ran for president, like I think he was alluding to Reverend Jackson. So it's always something, man. It's always something, and then you die, right? 9:30. See, I need my glasses. But who got my glasses? You have my glasses? Let's see here. Let's see here. Here's some glasses. We have glasses everywhere. Can't use them, though, because you can't find them. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. There it is. Way down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Trump said, "Hey, man, Roe versus Wade is not on the docket." They try to make these issues. See, the Democrats always come up with these false narratives. Then they expect you to address their false narrative, right? And you can't really address their false narrative because it's false, right? So they have you strung out. Like they'll say, "Well, Donald Trump didn't condemn the white supremacists." Well, he certainly did. He said they're good people on both sides, but white supremacists, I don't support the white supremacists. They stop right there when he says they're good people on both sides. They've been trying to beat that horse for the last 3 years. And you know what? It works. Why does it work? It works because people refuse to do their homework. So let's play Joe and Donald talking about Roe versus Wade, because Biden says, "Hey, if this lady gets on the Supreme Court, Roe versus Wade is on the table. We'll never get guns off the street. People will have abortions in alleys." It goes on and on and on how they've attacked Amy Coney Barrett. Gone on and on and on. So let's delve into this a little bit. And we're going to play it and see how the president addressed these accusations that he does not support Roe versus Wade. He said it's not even on the docket, dude. It's not even in the court. So let's play it. And that's true. There's no Roe versus Wade abortion case coming to the court as of yet. It's not in the court or on the docket, or to be decided. That's all a lie. A lie by whom? By the left. And if you buy into it, there you are. Okay, so look, Biden is cool though. He's tried to be cool, but he's like, he just couldn't help himself. He just said to Trump, he brought up Camilla, he brought up Bo, and he brought up Bo Biden. And Trump tickled me. He said, "I don't know about Bo, but I do know about Hunter." And Joe's face became ashen. It's like, oh, did I open up that can of worms? It's like he wants to talk about Hunter, not Bo, the patriot, the guy that was the insurance commissioner that you brought $25,000 to in a brown paper bag, and you got access to Joe Biden. That's the guy who died from cancer. His name is Bo Biden. So Trump asked him, says, well, who's on your list? Why won't you answer the question? Who's on your list to be Supreme Court? Just answer the question. Nobody wants to, right? Because Joe knows that if he doesn't put radical left-wing people on the bench, he'll lose his support from AOC and Bernie. And those people will stay home. They're going to stay home anyway. But the reality is, Joe said, would you shut up? He won't release the list. Joe Biden refuses to release a list of Supreme Court nominees. Question is why? Because they have to be radically left. Let's listen to this exchange one more time. The president never called Joe out of his name. He never told Joe to shut up. He just kept browbeating him. I mean, man, it was like a Rottweiler with a paper doll or something, I love it. I love it. And then, like I said, the Joe Biden tried to bring up his family and how his son, went to Iraq. Well, he didn't bring up Hunter, who's the real problem, right? Hunter was a drug addict. Hunter did a lot of deals because his dad was VP and made a lot of money. If this thing is true, this thing is coming, these accusations are not coming from a tabloid. They're not coming from, the Globe. They're not coming from, some variety paper. These accusations are coming from government organizations that Hunter took money, got contracts, $3 million from the mayor of Moscow. That's supposed to be confirmed. And if it's not, the president certainly made it an issue. I tell you, he did not back down on that one. He was all over that one. You just can't knock it. You can't. What can you say? What can you say? So the when Biden is trying to capitalize, on his credentials, his black thing. He doesn't have any black thing. Like a lot of people, his son is on drugs. He tries to relate that to his plight with black parents. Listen. Oops, president called it out. If I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I'm gonna pull the plug on the election. But we should be able to, and we must be able to. We should go to the polls in person. And I encourage you people to go to the polls in person. Why? Because your vote counts, and it counts right now. I don't believe in absentee ballots and mailing in ballots and all that kind of stuff. I don't believe in that. I believe in getting to the poll, making my vote count, knowing that it's being counted, it's not pushed over somewhere in the corner. Not that it really matters here in Illinois or Chicago. Didn't matter because this is a blue state, so it doesn't matter. My vote really doesn't. It doesn't matter that much. But in other places, it would. And we have to play the game. We have to be able to get out here and play of the game. So I'm looking at Robert Spalding's book, and Robert didn't show up today. Uh-oh. And you know what? I'm not broadcasting because I didn't turn on the deal there. Here we go. 47 years. 47 years of nothing. He didn't tell the truth. Amazing. 47 years. Hey, Drew, I got you out there. I see you. He told the truth about the 47 years of do nothing politics. That's true. Trump was right on point. Thanks, Drew, for that input. Drew is communicating with me out there on the internet, on YouTube. Go to Reality Check with Charles Butler out there on YouTube. Let's see. One other thing I want to talk about on this, well, a couple other things I want to address on this debate, because everybody I talk to is just so high energy about the debate, except I'm talking to some older Black people today. And they were like, I just don't like Trump. I don't like what he's done. What don't you like about what he's done? Lowest unemployment in history. What don't you like about this man? I don't get it. So it is hilarious. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. So we're going to play one more clip of Trump saying that Biden did nothing for 47 years. It was hilarious. I think it was the best line of the night. Ooh, there's nothing smart about you, Joe. Nothing smart about you, Joe. Nothing smart about you, Joe. That was a classic line. Nothing smart about you, Joe. Boom, bam, got him, nailed him. Nothing smart about you, Joe. Joe said, if you got smart about, he said, smart? Joe, don't ever use that word. There's nothing smart. Trump had some classic one-liners, man, with from the 47 years of nothing. How do you make this stuff up? You don't. You just roll with it, and he has. He's rolled with it. The president of the nation's largest firefighting union has decided not to seek re-election amid a probe into pension payments to himself and a former union official. Oops. There we go. Pentagon's chief of naval operations fell ill yesterday while on a run, went in to undergo a heart surgery soon after. That's deep. So there's a lot going on out here. There are a lot of moving parts. Biden just released his income tax. Just released his income taxes, and he's paying $300,000 in federal taxes for 2019. Joe, hey Joe, my advice to you: get Trump's accountant. Okay, get Donald Trump's accountant with your dumb self. Oh man, I got to, it's a story that I didn't get around to reading, for a couple of reasons, but it's on page A4 of Wall Street Journal, which means it's, one of those things they put on the front page, on the front page, but they kind of do it for sensationalism. Go out here and look at this, right? Barrett goes to Capitol Hill. She's good. She's going to do well on Capitol Hill. She's going to turn it out. She's good looking. She's smart. She's a family woman. I love her. I love everything about this woman. She reeks of Americana. She reeks of everything that I would want in a judge. You know, the NBA. I think they play tonight, don't they? Let's see. I think yeah, the Miami Heat. I think the Miami Heat and the LA Lakers play tonight, and LeBron is going to do his thing, of course. But Biden released his 2019 tax returns, paid $300,000 between he and his wife. That was on a little under $1 million. He received $985,000 adjusted gross income in a year in which he mostly was running for president. His tax rate was 29%. Their income means that would probably be the subject of several tax increases that Biden is proposing. Meanwhile, Biden goes on to say Trump has refused to release any income tax returns, breaking a 40-year tradition of major party candidates and presidents. The New York Times reported Sunday that Trump hasn't paid federal income taxes in many recent years and just paid $750 for 2016 and the same for 2017. Trump has dismissed the Times reporting as inaccurate, but has declined to specify errors. See, that's what they try to do. They put this stuff out there and they expect you to respond. They want you to respond to their lies. They want you to respond to their untruths. But you can't. You have to stick with the facts. Trump said, hey, I'm still being audited. When we get to a final number, I'll let you know. And I keep saying, why do you want to look at his tax returns? You wouldn't understand that Donald Trump's tax returns anyway. All you're going to look at is how much money he's paying the government. That's his tax return looks like everyone else. It doesn't list the contracts that he has or where he got his money from. It doesn't list that. Mr. Trump has dismissed the Times reporting as inaccurate, but declined to specify any errors. The Times reported a detailed series of questionable transactions by Mr. Trump, including deductions for hairstyling, claims of large losses, and consulting payments to his daughter, Ivanka. The president has said he's still being audited by the IRS, and I believe that. Biden, on the other hand, he's employed a significantly scaled-back version of tax avoidance techniques that he used in 2017 and 18 on income that he and his wife earned from books and speeches. They set up an S corp to receive that income. Good. Interesting. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do for this next 24 minutes? Let me see if my guy called in. Let me see. Here. Hey. Nope. He didn't. Wonder what happened to him. That was Robert Spalding. Supposed to call in. Let's see here. Oops. These people are steady begging for money. I don't have any, guys. Sorry. Martha McSally. All of these people. You get these things on your phone. Oh, hi, it's Martha. Give me a call. I need some money. Yeah. Amazing. Let's see here. I'm just getting ready to get out of here after the show and run a few errands, do a few things, take care of some business. You should too. So what else is going on, folks? Talk to me. Talk to me out there. Let me know. We need to close some deals, get some things done. Yep. But the reality is, I think Trump won the debate last night. I thought it went well. Thought it went real well. And, I'm excited that people are excited. We're not put off by the president's approach, by the president calling people out. That's what he does. Yep. An American Bridge to Islam. Oops. This is a book. This is a book that's 311 pages long. Okay. And who was the key figure behind this radically different form of Islam, and hence derived his irregular ideas. Now, this is going to be an interesting book, an interesting title. In fact, I'm going to get this author on my show. Okay. Make America Trust Elections Again. This is an article that was put forth by a guy named William Gadsden. And he said last week, a reporter asked Donald Trump for a straightforward question. Would he commit a peaceful transfer of power if he lost the election? His answer is, well, if we're going to see what happens, you know that I've been complaining very strongly about the ballots, and the ballots are a disaster. Then he suggested that the authorities get rid of the ballots. If they did, he predicted, they won't be a transfer. Frankly, there'll be more of a continuation. The president is not playing around, man. You said that the video was buffeting. I don't know why. It wasn't buffeting on this end. Sorry. So anyway, the president has said, hey, if you guys want to play with the election, you want to play with the ballots, these mail-in ballots, it's a scam. I'm not going to go along with it. And the states are trying to push back, some of them. In a recent editorial in the Wall Street Journal, the litigation has led judges in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Georgia to extend the period during which the mail-in ballots may be counted. Officials in Minnesota, North Carolina, have entered into consent decrees to the same effect. These decisions are certain to be appealed, and the final judgments may not be rendered until after November 3rd, which is why the outcome of the presidential contest may be not known on election night, because there'll be people crying again, like Rachel Maddow. Oh my God, Donald Trump won. I mean, these people were actually crying like babies. These are supposed to be professionals. Hey, can't make this stuff up, people. Can't make it up. When President Trump was asked to denounce white supremacists, he told them to back off. I don't support white supremacists at all, because at the end of the day, they hate me. So there's nothing that I can say or do to support white supremacists or white supremacy. It's a notion that's far-fetched to begin with, and it's held by ignorant people, even though it's practiced in this country each and every day. So should the president say, denounce it? Yeah, he should. And did he misspeak? I think he needs to address it for what it is. It's wrong. And it's dangerous, because people are going to be killed. This is not going to be like the Ku Klux Klan of old, while you roll in and, pick up a poor black man and shoot and kill a poor black man who doesn't have a gun or has an old rusty rifle or whatever. Ain't gonna be that kind of party, baby. As you saw when that black militia group rolled out in, I think they were in Michigan or DC, and all the brothers had AR-15s and replicas of AK-47s and things like that. It ain't gonna be that kind of party, because see, at the end of the day, some of your most fierce fighters, some of your most serious combat warriors were black men. In Vietnam, we had the highest percentage of Congressional Medal of Honor awards given to black men. Amazing. Amazing. Paying the ultimate cost. Paying the ultimate cost of fighting for a country that they love, who did not love them. I experienced that as a young naval officer. I just can't tell you how I experienced it. It was so horrific. The U.S. bans me for committing journalism. It's an article by Jonathan Spire. He says, why I'm being accused of being associated with terror groups. I interviewed members of terrorist groups. Kind of like that CARE group. What is it? The Center for American uh, American Islamic Relations care. They hate me. They won't put people on my show because when I get through pushing them to the edge about how Islam is not compatible with uh, democracy, Islam is not compatible with Judo-Christian religion, and we certainly don't believe in Sharia law, as Ruth Bader Ginsburg did. See, people think that I forgot. I haven't forgotten that. You shouldn't either. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was not a good person, man. I'm sorry. You know, and this woman, Amy Coney Barrett, is the direct antithesis of everything, and I do mean everything that Hillary Clinton was. Let's see here. It's this here. Let me put this right here. Okay, good. So we can move this up. All right. Take that right out of the picture. Yeah, we got a lot of things going on here. Wow. But again, I'm going to call Robert Spalding. See what happened to this dude. Let's see here. We'll call him right. We're going to be listening to it. Okay, here we go.
Rob Spalding.
Hey, Rob, it's Charles Butler.
Hey.
Yeah, we had a meeting about 45 minutes ago.
I have in mind that it's now.
Yeah, but it's not 2:00 my time. It's 2:00 Eastern time. That's okay.
Oh,
That's okay.
I see. It's literally on my calendar for right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I always use Eastern time because everybody can compute Eastern time. But you know, no big deal. I should have called you earlier.
You know what I was doing?
No.
I was actually in a room full of brand new Air Force 2 stars, briefing them about the National Security Council and our current challenges. So, you know, I apologize if I told you I was available, because I literally was not available. That
was so you were briefing 2 stars, huh? These are new.
Yeah, brand new 2 stars. These are brand new Air Force 2 stars that you know, so they have this course that they go through, and one of the courses they talk about what's the National Security Council, how does it work, and then I talked to them about China. So I really apologize.
No, that's okay. Listen, so these are major generals for the use of you who don't know. These are major generals, right?
Right.
So you thought I forgot that, huh? But
well, they're vice admirals in your world, right?
Yeah, I think they're vice admirals.
Or there's a rear admiral upper half. Right?
It's let's see, you have rear admiral. I can't remember what's between a vice and a rear. I can't remember. That's amazing.
I can't. Oh, you're slipping.
I can't. I'm slipping. Yeah, I have to do my homework. I have to do my prep. Unlike Joe Biden. But speaking of which, since we only have a few minutes here, what was your takeaway last night from the debate, if any?
Well, you know, the challenge with these debates is you don't have any discussion of policy. It's really just ad hominem, like constant ad hominem attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I don't think that's helpful for Americans for them to understand. I mean, all the challenges we have in this country, that's what we ought to be talking about when we have a debate. Like, what are the real challenges and how do we fix them? And a lot of them have to do with 2 things: economic opportunity and equality under the law. And we've completely gotten away from that. As how do we focus on what's important to the American people? Economic opportunity and equality under the law.
Well, of course we have, because we were a country that had exported our best jobs overseas. So how are you going to talk about economic empowerment, economic opportunity, when you had people in Silicon Valley, Americans in Silicon Valley, who couldn't get jobs because they were giving them to people who were brought here from India and Bangladesh and Pakistan.
Absolutely. And then not to mention that, the over 70,000 factories we lost and the millions of manufacturing jobs. I mean, the devastation in communities around the country, that's why people are angry. Obamacare is a thing. It's a thing because those millions of jobs came with health care benefits and retirement benefits.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of those jobs went to new immigrants coming to the United States legally because of the dream of economic opportunity and, no oppression based on, race, religion, or class. And that's the truth. We just basically abandoned those people.
Yeah,
we abandoned them.
We did. And, but what's so interesting to me is, we always say when America sneezes, Black America has the swine flu. Okay. So you can imagine how the devastation in the Black community.
Yeah, it rolls downhill.
Yeah, but
it rolls downhill.
You could imagine the devastation in the Black community with this influx of cheap labor, with this influx of people who would work for anything, do anything. I have a friend in California. She's made a whole business out of bailing companies out of trouble with the National Labor Relations Board that has, used to give, they hired illegal immigrants or these people who were newly here. They didn't pay them overtime for working on Saturday. They would work them 60 hours a week or 70 hours a week. And the people would say, oh, no, you don't have to pay me overtime. I'm just glad to have a job. I'm just glad to work. And then after about a year or two, they all get together and go to the NRB, the National Labor Relations Board, and file a suit. And they get 10, 20, the fines are huge. So they get 10 times.
They probably get money from
from
the lawyers for.
No, they get money. No, they get money from the employer. The employer is fine.
I mean the lawyers are like out there, ambulance chasing, except in this case it's labor chasing, and then they turn around and they get their fee.
Yeah, they're getting their fee.
So they're incentivized to do it.
And so my friend is making a living out of helping these companies to defend themselves against these practices that they engaged in, not paying these people overtime, thinking they had cheap labor, thinking these people were stupid. And they turned these laws right around them. They wouldn't hire Americans. They were going to hire these immigrants because they work harder than Americans, supposedly. Now, I remember when I was growing up, the image of Mexicans was they wore siestas. I mean, they wore, what do you call those hats, straw hats, big straw hats? I can't remember what you call them.
I can't remember either.
But
I know what you're talking about.
But they wore those big straw hats, and they took a lot of siestas, and they were very lazy sombreros. They wore sombreros and took a lot of naps, and they were a lazy culture. Then all of a sudden, when these people they're more industrious than there's no one who's more industrious than the American worker. I'm sorry. There's no one in this world who's more industrious and works harder and with more pride than the American worker. Period.
Yeah, that's been a convenient kind of line. The Chinese have actually used that quite a lot too. Americans are lazy. They don't want to work. That's just not true. They do want to work, and they want loyalty from their help. And when you can basically go somewhere, not just bring somebody in that can undercut a wage, but when you can take your factory overseas and not pay environmental tax, not pay a labor tax because you're in a country where you don't have to run scrubbers on your smokestacks, and you can basically treat your employees like slaves, then you can make a very high margin. And this companies like Apple, a lot of these multinational corporations, that's what they've done.
Well, Microsoft, if you look at the facilities that Microsoft has built in China, where they employ tens of thousands of people. It's appalling. You look at I have an HP printer, new printer. Where is it manufactured? China. 20, 30 years ago, it was manufactured in Corvallis, Oregon.
Right.
So someone would have all this time, you would have had American families who were making money, getting paid by Hewlett Packard, getting retirement benefits, contributing to the economy, but their jobs were cut out and sent to China by Carly Fiorina.
And those guys made huge bonuses when they did that.
Oh yeah.
Got huge stock options, and that's really, I mean, you know, when I say economic opportunity and equality under the law, you know, I mean, there's a lot of things that have happened in this country on the legal front, but what has reversed literally since the end of the Cold War has been this ability to have a steady job that has health benefits and retirement benefits, you know, because of this willingness to either bring in employees that are willing to accept a lower wage, allowing some to come in illegally, or by basically taking the manufacturing facility overseas full lock, stock, and barrel. So, I mean, this is the challenge that we face. And how I got involved in this was, you know, I was looking at it from the national security end. So, like, who's making the propellant that goes in this Hellfire missile? Who's making the coatings that go on these night vision goggles? Well, it's coming from China. So if we have a conflict with China, where do we get them? Well, we can't. Okay, so then it was about the same time I started hearing the president talk about, you know, then he was a candidate for president, talking about all these things are manufactured in China. And I started to realize that there was a nexus between our national security, which has been completely undermined, and our social cohesion and economic opportunity, which has likewise been undermined by the same actor. So, you know, all of these things go back to, you know, that's why I wrote my book. It's all about this one country that we basically sold our soul to.
Yeah, and we would never have done that to Russia. We would never have done that. We would never have sold.
It was illegal.
So
it was literally illegal.
So these people, all of these people made money. All of these people had stock options and whatnot, and they all made money. Look at Hunter Biden. Look at the thing. Hunter. I mean, you know, Joe Biden tries to act like it's not a fact that the mayor wife of Moscow gave him $3 million. It's a fact. Hey, Bob. Who is Bob? Okay, what happened to him? Okay. General Bob Spaulding wrote a book called Stealth China, and it's about how he came to terms with how I'm just telling you, one of my chat folks came up and asked a question. And the book is called Stealth China, and how the American elite slept while we gave away the country. I disagree with the title. Bob said, well, he didn't make the title. I don't think they slept at all. I think it was intentional.
That's the way it works.
Yeah. I think it was intentional that they gave away the country so that they could build up a military industrial enemy. Since we couldn't do it with Russia, we gave China all the technology. I mean, you look at their fleet, you look at these basically F-35s that the Chinese have. They don't have the research and development to do that. They never had the computers to do that until Bill Clinton gave him the Cray computer. Bill Clinton led him into the WTO, and you know he received huge sums of money from the Chinese government, and Chinese military, which is well documented. But you know, Republicans do a very poor job of telling stories. Very poor job.
Yeah. And you know, to be honest with you, Charles, so the book is Stealth Wars.
Stealth Wars. I'm sorry.
Stealth Wars. But you know, I saw when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at, okay, who makes the propellant for the Hellfire missile? Who makes the coatings for the night vision goggles? Okay, China. Okay, all these factories are gone. 70,000 factories. So I'm in 2016. I'm in the Pentagon, and this guy writes a paper. He's a labor economist out of MIT, writes a paper. It says it's called the China Shock. And in this paper, he says, economists said that, if we send all these factories to China, that, all of these jobs, these manufacturing jobs, we'll take those people and they'll get white-collar jobs. They'll be computer programmers or, they'll get some better job, right?
Bob, we're about 20 seconds. Go ahead. Now, we're going to wrap up here.
So the punchline is those jobs never came. And so what he found out is those people they've gone on a 20-year suffering spree that hasn't been fixed, and that's why the president was elected. Right.
Hey, folks, we're closing Red State down, but we're still out on YouTube, so stick with us on YouTube. Bob, at the end of the day, we got sold out. These I don't know where these economists or where these think tank wonks pull this stuff out of their behinds. Like I remember debating with people from Cato who said, well, for every manufacturing job we lose, we gain 8 well-paying service jobs. When did a service job pay the amount of money that a manufacturing job pays someone? Whether it's construction or working in a plant. But you have these schoolboys, and you wonder, where in the hell do these people come from? They're so dumb. But they have these 6-figure jobs sitting in these golden thrones, and they're telling us what is going to happen, and none of it ever comes true. I mean, you look at Joe Biden over the last 47 years. This guy's never been right about anything. He was so bad, he was even wrong on going after bin Laden. But they went after bin Laden because they killed Gaddafi's kids, and they didn't want that to be his grandkids. So they didn't want that to be the headline in the Washington Post above the fold, as you call it in D.C., above the fold that next morning. So they wouldn't got Gaddafi. They knew where Gaddafi was. We've known where Gaddafi was 8 years before they wouldn't got him. Christiana Amanpour told it on the news one day.
But Joe's supposed to be about the regular guy, right? I'm about the regular guy, is what he says, right? Scranton, I'm a regular guy. But he signed up for NAFTA. Do you remember NAFTA? What Perot said? Yep. There's going to be a giant sucking sound of jobs.
And that job should
absolutely. When they laughed at him, these guys at Cato laughed at him.
Oh yeah.
And he was what that report in 2016 said. David Autor is the guy's name. China sucks the report. Labor study. He was absolutely right. And those people, they were in places like Detroit.
Well, yeah,
they used to be these big industrial
hubs,
cities.
Yeah, my friends used to call me Little Ross Perot, but I would say what Ross was saying way before Ross was saying. I lived in San Diego, and I could see the Maquiadoras going up across the border from where I lived. Big, beautiful buildings, and I remember my dad came out to visit me in 1979. And we're driving down the highway. And he said, son, I see now why so many people are out of work in Detroit. And I said, why is that, Pops? He said, because everybody out here is driving a foreign car. And I looked around. Here he is in a Porsche. Everybody's driving a Toyota or Camry or a Datsun. That's a name out of the past. But everyone's driving anything and everything but a Ford, a Chevy, a Buick, a Chrysler. That was just the way it was. You had this anti-Detroit sentiment, and that anti-Detroit sentiment was driven by people who came out and talked about the union. How could you support the union? These people are making all this money in these union jobs. So they went and spent money on Japanese cars, our enemy. And my dad fought the Japanese. Most of the men who were alive at that time, they fought the Japanese. They were veterans of World War II. I mean, when you look at it, okay, so 79, 45, you're talking only 35 years, and they were at war with the Japanese, man.
Yeah, well, and you remember, I don't know if you remember, but Lighthizer was one of the guys negotiating with them, I believe back then, and I think during the Reagan administration. and basically went to the Japanese and said, "Look, you want us to keep protecting you? You're basically undermining our auto industry. You need to work with us," and they did. And I think what the president thought he could do when he got into office is, I'll go. I got Lighthizer back. I'll go do the same deal with the Chinese. And the Chinese said, "No, we're not going to play that game." And that's where I think people don't understand that. Not only do they this unfair trade where our jobs are lost because of it, but they also want to see our society destroyed. So these communities where lost jobs, they were pumping fentanyl in, killing tens of thousands of Americans every single day or every year. That's the truth. 100% of the fentanyl that comes into this country comes from China. Right.
And but Trump is the only one who's addressed that, and he's back. So last night, what did you take away from the debate? Did you think that Trump held his own? Did you think they need to tone it down? Do you think that that Biden made any headway? I just thought that the line of "you haven't done anything in 49 years" was, or 47 years. I thought that was classic. And the other one was, "Don't ever use the word smart with me," to me.
I thought that was. There's a couple times that me and my wife laughed. That was one of them. That was like.
Said Joe.
I was kicking the couch. I was laughing so hard.
Joe. Joe, don't ever mention the word smart to me. Man, I laughed so dang hard. I mean, it was one of those things. It was one of those moments,
It was funny.
Yeah, so man. And then he told me, he said, "Well, Roe versus Wade is not on the docket. I mean, why are we talking Roe versus Wade? But
right.
Yeah, Bob,
absolutely.
Bob, just listen to this for a minute. Oh, you can't hear it.
I can't hear it.
That's right. You can't hear it. You're not connected through the system. So, but anyway, it was that piece where Joe says, he's got to get smarter. He's got to get smarter about this coronavirus. And Trump looked at smart. Dude, don't ever mention that word. Man, I thought I would come unglued, man. I mean, that was a great line. I mean, and then everyone's talking about the fact that Biden said the president was dumb and called him he didn't say it was dumb, but he called the president a clown and told him to shut up. A lot of people were very upset with that.
Yeah. I was in the Trump administration. I worked at the Pentagon for the chairman of the Joint Chiefs during the Obama administration. So I spent a lot of time in the White House working on national security issues on behalf of the chairman. And I can tell you that the things that the current president has done to put Americans back to work, to give them economic opportunity, that is not something that the Biden administration was interested in.
Right.
It was not. They were interested in Davos. They were interested in Paris. They were interested in globalization.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you hear those words, you think that's another job American that doesn't have a job. And they're okay with it. I saw it.
Yeah, they're okay with it. But everyone forgets that not only the things that you mentioned, but people forget that we had thousands of people who were coming to our southern borders saying, "Let us in. We want a job. Let us in and take care of us. And we want to come to your country to work, not to be Americans. We want to come to your country to work and get money so we can send back to our poor ass countries." And the other thing that people forget is that on a world basis, the country was very weak under Barack Obama. The country was perceived as being sissified and feminized under Barack Obama. See, because Barack Obama is a sissy. I mean, there's no other way to characterize the guy. I mean, I know the guy. I mean, I wouldn't walk into.
When he came out of the back of that airplane in China, oh my goodness. I mean, what they took away from that, look how we can humiliate the president of the United States.
And he's a black. You see, and this is
the back of that plane.
This is the thing that people don't get about the Chinese. See,
I would put them stairs up and take it off.
See that Barack has no. First of all, Barack has no guts. He has no heart. Like I said, he's a girly man. And the thing is, that's why Putin hates him. We know things about Barack Obama that I'm just not going to say on the air right now. But the guy, when I say he's a sissy, he's truly a sissy. This guy, that people forget that he was talking about managing. That we were just trying to manage the transition of America from the #1 superpower to the #2 superpower. Remember, that was one of his talking points. Remember?
Yeah.
And then that was also some of the talking points of people who ran against Trump. And Trump was like, "No way, we're going to be #2. The hell with that. We're going to be #1. I'm going to make sure we're #1." Everybody forgets those arguments. The other thing, the people coming to the border, the management to #2, people forget that when I say we appeared weak on the world stage, China was buzzing our ships out in the ocean. They were coming into our formation like the Russians used to do under Jimmy Carter. The Iranians took one of our boats, and this guy is, he studied bending over, spreading his cheeks, and they don't do that anymore. North Korea was shooting missiles towards Hawaii. They don't do that anymore. Remember, those were real concerns. The people in Honolulu had a missile drill where they were running to missile shelters because of the North Koreans shooting missiles toward the island. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, you're right. I'll give you another example. So we negotiated a truce between the Philippines and China over the Scarborough Shoal. That's the Obama administration. We negotiated a truce. So the Filipinos left and the Chinese left. And as soon as the Filipinos left, the Chinese went back in and took it and occupied it. And they said, "You suckers! You suckers!"
Well, think about this.
That was the Obama administration.
Think about
and Duterte. He's like, "You idiots!"
That's how he won. That's how Duarte won. So the other thing.
He's like, "You're so dumb."
The other thing was. Oh shoot! I just lost it. You were just talking about Duarte taking it. It was something else that
they took that underwater UUV, the underwater vehicle, the unmanned underwater vehicle, the glider. They took that in the South China Sea. They basically took it right in front of the ship. And so it was this remote, submarine basically. And there's two of them that the Navy had been measuring stuff, and the Chinese come, they come up and set a boat out and take it right in front of them, just right out in daylight. It's like somebody stealing the tires off your car while you're driving by.
Remember, you put in your book, I think, about how Barack Obama allowed a nuclear deal. He allowed nuclear power. Information and technology to be passed on to the Chinese, and when he was warned about it, he said, "I'll just forget about it. Let it go." I mean, this is a guy. I have no respect for Barack Obama, and I have even less respect for Colin Powell and the positions that he's taken over the recent years. Everything that Colin Powell has, he owes to Republican administrations and Republican politicians. I remember when he was challenged about being the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, several Democrats and Republicans challenged his nomination. And the person who defended him was Senator John Warren, Republican from Virginia, who headed the Senate Armed Services Committee. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, and he was a huge, President Bush was a huge proponent of Colin Powell.
No question.
Huge.
So I'm just happy that things have gone the way they've gone. The debate's over. I'm looking forward to the second and third debate. Kamala Harris said there's no way that Joe Biden's not going to talk to the American people. And, Trump's going to have to tone it down and let Biden speak. But Biden's just going to talk himself into a hole. And, you just come out and correct him like Trump did and keep right on moving because, it's come out. Everything that Trump said, he said that they tried to undermine him, tried to bug his phones. And they said, well, we don't bug phones anymore. Well, no, you don't bug phones. You don't, what do you call it? What's the old word for it? Wiretap. No, you don't wiretap phones anymore. We use electronic surveillance. So they said, well, we don't wiretap. No, you didn't wiretap, but you certainly used the 2016 version of wiretapping. So those are the games that these people play. And the American people are so dumb that they really don't get it. And that's, the dumbing down of America started with the Nixon administration because Nixon and Kissinger realized that the American people were becoming so educated about what was going on in Washington that they were actually going to demand that Washington do what the people wanted done. So they had to create these hardships and these artificial things. Like everyone knows today that there was never a gas shortage. It was all created by the Nixon administration and by Henry Kissinger. To do what? To pressure people. Things were just too good for the American people. We had plenty of jobs. We had money in the bank. We had new cars. We had new clothes. Things were just flowing too well. So we have to give these people something to get them off the backs of government. Why are we in Vietnam? Why are we fighting a civil war? Besides to make companies rich and they're profiteering, and your sons are not going, by the way. Anyway, hey, Robert, as usual, man, it's been a gas. It's been fun, and we're going to wind it up here.
I would love talking to you. Thanks for everything.
Give me your closing argument here, your closing statement.
Well, look, I spent 27 years in the Air Force focused on protecting this country. And I was blind. I didn't know what was going on, and I apologize for that. And but I do now. And I tell you, what's been going on in D.C. for the last 30 years is directly responsible for how people's lives have deteriorated over that time. And I'm telling you, I've dedicated my life to reversing that. It's about bringing jobs back to this country. It's about economic opportunity and equality under the law. And that's what I'm all about.
When I look at my daughter and I look at my godson, both professionals, one's a lawyer, one's an MBA, and the opportunity, they can't even afford to buy houses, man. When I got out of college, I bought my first home 2 years out of college. Right.
Yeah, we need to bring that back, and I think the president's committed to that more than any that I have seen. He's different. He didn't understand DC. I guarantee the next 4 years, it's going to be like a whirlwind. Well,
yeah, but he's going to make people turn to or get out of the way. And see that
he's smarter now. And the other thing, Charles, I'll just leave you with this. What I've seen in the last 12 months, the people they're putting in place in the administration actually are doing his work for
They're top-notch people. They're top-notch people.
They've been fighting him.
They're top-notch people.
Now he's got people in there that are going the right direction.
Right. Like Mad Dog Mattis. I didn't believe that he would undermine the president the way that he did. But he did. It is what it is. Yeah. Hey, my friend, as always, thank you. And I'm sorry that I didn't get you earlier, but you were doing something far more important in briefing those new major generals on the workings of the National Security Council. I'm just so proud of you, man. Love you.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Love you too.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. That's my friend, Mr. Robert Spalding, folks. And, you guys need to pick up his book. It's called Stealth War. And it's about China's war against us. So pass on this video, subscribe, pass on the video. Uh, upload it to your Facebook, upload it to your YouTubes, upload it to your uh, Twitters out there, and let's see what happens. Because what we do here in the reality check is we impart information to make sure that you know what's going on and you can make informed decisions. Thanks. Take care. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't take any wooden nickels. And try not to get shot if you're here in Chicago, because bullets are flying everywhere, unfortunately. And these young boys are like, well, I didn't have a daddy. That's why I wasn't shot in that house that I didn't know who was in there. I didn't have a father. BS. People need to start being held accountable. People need to go to jail. That's, my 2 cents. I'm sticking with it. You need to too. Um, and we're just going to have to get on out of here. Today's audio, that's not what I wanted. Today's audio, nope. We want this bumping music to take us out. Somewhere my bumping music is here, and I just don't have it. That's what the deal is. I don't see it. Here we go. Oh, yeah, there is. Take care. Talk to you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Be good. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. We've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket signs and picket lines. Don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me, and you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? La 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 la. Okay. Mm-hmm. Don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me. All right. Oh, man. Uh huh.